Ready. Chapter 27. Memories. Keon looked around. Where was he? He didn't recognize his surroundings. The forest was gone, replaced by a very different scenario. All sounds of the nature were gone, as were all the colors. The road ahead was painted grey, as well as everything else around him. He started walking. He couldn't even hear his own footsteps. The silence seemed almost overpowering. He looked up. Even the sky was colored grey. It was snowing. Grey snowflakes. He could feel them touch his skin. It didn't feel cold at all. Was it snow? He reached out his hand while he looked at it, but it didn't look like his hand at all. He recognized it. The same hand he had seen and touched so many times over these past days. He caught one of the snowflakes flying around in the air. He opened his hand. In the palm of it lay a small piece of ash. It wasn't snowing. It was ash falling down from the sky. It was all around him, covering everything. He could feel himself breathing it in, how it ripped inside his lungs. He wanted to cough, but he didn't. Instead, he opened his mouth even further and breathed even deeper. More and more ash filled his lungs. He sat down on the ground and closed his eyes. A sense of calm came over him. Maybe this was it? It would be a nice way to go, buried in the city along with all the others who died here. Keon opened his eyes. The dream he had just had, that wasn't his dream. He looked over at Aino laying beside him. For once she had fallen asleep as well. He could hardly hear her breathe, but he could see her chest moving. He had been inside her dream, inside her body, inside her mind. He must have moved in his sleep and accidentally touched her. Previously she had told him that she had no control of her body while she was sleeping, while she was unconscious. That he shouldn't touch her because she might end up hurting him. Keon looked at her. Was that the truth, though? Maybe it was the opposite. This was the time when she was the most vulnerable. She wanted to keep him out of her mind because she knew it became an open book to him. Show me, Aino. Show me the pain you're carrying, he whispered as he closed his hand around hers. Keon could hear people screaming and crying. People were running past him in panic. He could feel them bumping into him, but he stood still. They were all running away from something, but he wasn't. He could feel the ground starting to move and hear rumbling in the distance. The dam has burst! Run! Run for your lives! A man yelled, running past him. Keon looked at the man with apathy. Run and save his life? Now why would he do that when he could just drown? He spread his arms wide to welcome the enormous wave heading his way. As the cold water hit him with a violent force, he gave up all will to live. Keon let go of Aino's hand. He sat up and looked at her. How many more painful memories was she carrying? She opened her eyes and rubbed them before she sat up as well. I wish Yua would just give up. Now he's gotten me to care about him. This is making the whole thing a lot harder, she sighed loudly. Starting to have second thoughts? Keon asked her. She shook her head. No, it's my blood. No matter if they all end up hating me in the end, I'm taking it back. Keon took a deep breath. He had to address the elephant in the room. Aino, when you were sleeping I touched you. You previously told me that if I touched you, I could get hurt, but no such thing happened. Instead, I could see inside your mind. It took me to most painful memories. Why did you lie to me before? He asked her tentatively. She avoided looking directly at him. It's what I see when I close my eyes, when I'm awake and when I'm asleep. It's my burden to bear, not yours. He leaned in closer towards her. You sure do try your best to keep people at a distance, don't you? She met his eyes. I'm sorry I lied to you, but you're different from the rest. I don't hide things from you because I want to keep you at a distance. I hide them because I'm afraid you'll leave me if you find out the truth. Keon put his hand on top of Aino's head. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I will stay with you for as long as you need me. What if I told you to stay forever? She asked him. He smiled at her. Well, I can't promise that. I'm not immortal like you. What if I made you a mage? Maybe it will make you live longer. It could protect you from Lia as well. She gave him a hopeful look. He shook his head at her. I don't want to be a mage, Aino. It's your blood, not mine. I prefer being myself, the way I am now, the way I was meant to be. You're my protection against Lia. I don't want to become like her. Plus, we both know I'd live a long life by your side. I don't need to have your blood in me for that. Just don't leave me. I wouldn't dream of it, she winked at him. What are the two of you doing? Yua's head was right next to them. Aino and Keon jumped in surprise at its sudden appearance. The lieutenant general squinted his eyes and looked at them both suspiciously. Where did you come from? Aino asked, confused. He looked at her with a grumpy expression. From the camp. It's dawn, so I came to wake you up and tell you it's time to leave. Seems like the both of you have been awake for a while though, chatting away about being by each other's side and shit. She gave him a strained smile as a response. Keon looked over at Yua. That man was totally trying to ruin his game. The thoughts were spinning in Keon's head as they were walking towards the next camp. He had seen so many fragments of Aino's memories. He wanted to make sense of it all. He wanted to take her aside and ask about it. But at the same time, they were her memories. Did he have the right to? Maybe one day she would be comfortable to share the darkest parts of her past with him. But he already knew when that moment came, it had to be her choice. It's already the 2nd of October. Time sure flies, Aino commented as she looked around. Nature was starting to show signs of the autumn. Leaves changing colors, the weather getting colder and the days getting darker. Atle looked down at the ground. It had been 3 months since the last battle of the Blood Mages. 3 months since more than a third of his army was lost at war. Over 1,000 people giving up their lives. For what? For peace. Peace built on the bodies of others, fighting in a war that shouldn't even have existed in the first place. Atle looked over at his creator, his hope laid with her. The 2 blood armies uniting as one. She would be the one to do it. She didn't know it yet, but she had the heart of both Nila and Ayla. If there was anyone those two would listen to, it was her.